Now we address the header of the grid itself, the columns at the very top. And this is going to be one last pass through all of them. And we're going to start with column 0. Remember, column 0 is a header. It's a header row. Row 0 is a header row. Column 0 is going to be the record numbers, numbering 1 to however many records you have in your table. And then we're going to put in the word atmosphere. We could come in and say atmosphere type. Put in atmosphere type there. And then modify and delete to say, hey, this is the modify button column. This is the delete column button. Now what we want to do is set our column widths. How big on the grid does each column take up? And what I did was assign column 0 to be 50. That's why all he gets is a number sign. And then column 1 to be 200. And then modify and delete, I've found fit 90 very, very nicely. Now, I haven't done any math. We're probably going to be off on the width of the list image box size, the grid size, to what we've used here. And then that's just a matter of fudging numbers to get it to fit right. We can change the size of the list box if we want. We can bump these guys up, however you want to deal with it. And now what we're doing is we're telling the grid to draw itself. So we've set all this data in there, and now we tell them, draw yourself right now. Okay, so now he draws himself to the screen. And now, as tradition and expected, you don't have to have this next if sentence in here, but we say, okay, if you get the row count of our data grid, and if it's greater than 0, let's select the first row. Okay, that's all this is doing, is set current row to be data grid row 1. Again, remember the grid is 1 based. Okay, so at this point, we have completed all the requirements for building the grid. So let's hit play. And earlier I looked at this and I decided I was going to get bit by something. Ah, yes, I know what it is. Okay, data grid helper. Thread of execution. Let's see. He's going to come down here and hit data grid helper. Data grid helper is going to spin through everything. That's data grid helper. So that's actually okay. Hold on. One of these I thought I was going to get bit. Well, to heck with it. That's why we have compilers, right? And sure enough, he has no idea what Atmos is, because I'm defining Atmos after, not data grid helper, but our, what is that other guy that we have over here? Functions. Where do we have functions brought in? So my choices are to move this up or move functions down. I'm going to go ahead and this time move this up here. So now Atmos is defined prior to functions being able to see it. And now he should be a happy camper. And sure enough, look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous little grid sitting in there? We got a height of 36 on all of that. We're off by maybe 50, 45. That can be easily absorbed. Let's see, we come down here and we got all 4 of our, all the way down to number 4 there. Yeah, that doesn't suck. That's pretty good, isn't it? And how much work was that? Not a whole lot, was it? But boy, the results are nice. All right, so let's come over here and let's eat up the 45 bytes more. In the procedure grid, And let's see, we'll come over here and say your column width is, I'm going to guess 45. All right, let's give it another shot, see if we've eaten up all that white and our name is a little bit wider. And here we go. How close did I guess? I think I'm a little bit too long. If I come down here, because I don't have the side to side guy, yep, it's too big. So let's back him off and say 40. So this is my little test I do on every grid because I don't like that bottom slider bar. I think it's obnoxious. So, and it's not on the grid obnoxious. It's just in general. I don't like people to have to pan right and left. So let's say 35. So we'll back it off a few times. We'll get it to where maybe there's just a little sliver of white there, and then it doesn't bounce around on us. So they can come over. There we go. Check that out. So we can move around on our grid using the cursor keys, and everything stays visible. And I think that's pretty cool. Now we have our modify and delete here. So what we're going to do next is let's figure a way that we can access the modify and delete buttons, because these won't fire the way normal buttons fire. And we also want to be able to add, right? Well, traditionally on grids, what we're going to do is come out here and let's jump over here, and I'm going to copy this guy because I think he's cute looking. We'll clone him, and let's come down here. And you could do an image button and put a plus sign in there. And if you want, that's fine. However it is you want to do this, I'll come down here and do an add. And so now we have a button on our screen called add. And so let's see, he's a bit big. We can shrink him down just a little bit, I believe. There we go. He doesn't need to be that big. So yeah, that's looking pretty doggone good. Let's go ahead and save this, and we will get rid of that. Push the code out to our application. Make sure we're going to step on planet. Okay. Yes, we want you to replace. And now I have to come out here to planet, and we need to hide jelly buttons because he doesn't exist there. And now let's take a look and say, okay, how are we looking? We are looking pretty cool. We got an add button next to our grid. We don't have anything that happens to it, but that's okay. We'll work on that next. So now what we're going to do is, because we're using a grid, we're not going to, it's just one field and a number. Let's come up here and let's look at this add atmosphere. But let's go ahead and add our button down here. It's pretty easy to add in, don't you think? After yesterday's, all those times you've done this yesterday, well, goodness gracious. This is simply case, gadget, this becomes old hat, FRM, planet, and BT button add. There he is. Now we need all of our event type, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to plagiarize all of this. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, let's take this and I'll copy it up here. But we don't want change. Let's see. We want just the left click, right? So get rid of these. So now on left click, what I want to do is, we may have a dog barking in just a second. So what we're going to do is call this up here, And let's go ahead and slide him in. Oops, that's menu. Gotta watch where I put this stuff. Okay, so our data grid, as we know, is our list icon grid. And then we have atmosphere list. Well, goodness, they're right together. Doesn't that convenient? Okay, so we come down here and we put our atmosphere list in there. Now, when we hit the button, we're going to call our atmosphere, add atmosphere. Remember we said that add atmosphere. I want to go to that function. I hit the control key and then double left click the actual name, and he brings me up to that point. Now let's see. We come up with a protected row. We're going to add a row to our grid. We are going to say row equals get grid count. So we're kind of pretty much following the exact same thing we did up in the other block. What we're doing is just appending a new row, and then we have to set all of that data the same. What is our row height? We're setting it to 36, just like everybody else. What are we putting in here? Well, let's see. We're coming in and saying, add an element to our atmosphere list. And now atmosphere list atmosphere equals new. So we added a row also to our list. And now we're coming down here and we're repainting that one row all the way across. So instead of being in the iterative loop of every row, and then we get down to the bottom, we tell it to draw itself, and then we also set the current row to be the row we just inserted. So let's take a look at that. And then I'll show you how to get to the modify and delete buttons. It's just about as easy. So, oh, you know what I maybe didn't do? So there you go. Oh, I did. Look at that. We can come in here and type George. There you go. We made him now nice and pretty. So we don't have these to where you can edit them. We can do that if you want. All you got to do is change the style. Go ahead and hit cancel. If you come up here, see where you used editable left. If we come up here to the painting of the grid, we come into this, and instead of locked left, we use editable, E-D-I-T-A-B-L-E, editable left. Now when we run it, all of those text fields are now going to be in white, and they're going to be editable, as opposed to being with the yellow background and locked on you. So again, that's why I went ahead and built all 6 columns or 9 columns, and you just kind of mix and match and you do use what you need to use. So that's how you go about making a list, making it editable, and adding rows to it. Okay. Now let's get to the modify buttons. All righty.